Well, for residents in Illinois, the foreclosure process gives them more time to try to work out a solution. Homeowners here in Edwardsville, Illinois, or anywhere in the state, have the benefit of a court process to fight foreclosure efforts.
Generally, when a borrower misses a payment, they get a notice from their lender that says, contact me, you missed a payment. 60 days later, they get another notice that says, in 30 more days we can put you in foreclosure, so give us a call. You've missed 2 payments.
Attorney Clarissa Gaff says the lender can file suit in court if 90 days go by without a response from the homeowner. Then the homeowner has another month to explain their situation to the court. After that, the judge can decide whether to issue a judgment of foreclosure. But even if a judgment is issued, the clock doesn't stop ticking. In Illinois, the foreclosure process generally runs 8.5 to 9 months at a minimum. Once homeowners have their day in court, they're left with a couple of options.
90 days after they're served, they can do what's called reinstate the loan. They have 90 days to come up with all the payments that they're behind, plus costs and fees, and if they pay that to the mortgage lender or servicer, whoever's collecting their payments, they're out of foreclosure. But they have 90 days from being served with a summons to come up with all that money for the right to reinstate. And they only get that right once every 5 years. They have the right to redeem the loan, which is essentially either 7 months after they got served with the foreclosure or 3 months after the final judgment, depending on which one is longer or better for the borrower too. They have a right to redeem the loan, which essentially means come up with all the money owed on the loan. Refinance, sell your house so you can pay off the loan, court costs, attorney's fees, etc. So 7 months from when they've got served, they have the right to redeem. Once the redemption period has run, then the house can be sold.
In other words, the court gives the lender permission to sell the property. Now, whether we're talking Missouri or Illinois, I would imagine there are common mistakes that all homeowners make once they get into trouble.
Sure. I think the first mistake that most homeowners make is that they never read the documents. And so they're totally ignorant of what that document is all about. They were anxious to buy a home, and it was an emotional high, and after that, things kind of went back to normal. Another major mistake is that when they get in trouble, a lot of times they consult the wrong people. They consult people who, like themselves, are ignorant, family, friends, who just don't know what the process is all about. A second mistake, or third mistake, is that a lot of times they don't respond to the information that their lender is telling them. And that, it's like kind of burying your head in the sand thinking that the problem will go away. And then finally, the greatest mistake is not seeking out the help that's available. The federal government offers a lot of help. There's a number of housing counseling agencies that offer help for free. So I think that if we can just educate people that there is help out there, that there are a number of agencies in the St. Louis market as well as the Illinois market that's willing to help them work through the process, talk to their lenders for them, write letters for them, stay in communication, and even in some instances provide financial assistance.
I would imagine too, when those bills start coming in the mail or saying those past due notices, should a lot of people just out of fear, I would imagine, just not open them up?
Ruth, you'd be surprised at how many clients we have sitting there in a counseling session, and I always have them open the mail because they bring the unopened mail and we open the mail. So what's so important is don't ignore all that. It won't go away. And I think another important point to say is that the lender does not want the home. All they want is the money. And I think a lot of people have the assumption that, oh, the bank wants my house. We hear people say that all the time, and they really don't. But it's very important. We know from what Dan just explained in Missouri, it happens very quickly. The sooner they call, the better.
Okay, I'd like to walk our audience through the process. What happens when they walk through the doors of an agency like yours for the first time?
Okay, they would have made a phone call to Beyond Housing, and we would do an intake with them, and we would ask basic questions. How many payments have you missed? How much will it take to bring your mortgage current? Have you received any letters from your lender or an attorney? Because if they've received letters from an attorney, then...
And this is the taken, yeah, these are some of the questions. In fact, I took them off your form.
Oh, okay.
So the first one here, how many payments have you missed? Why is that so important?
Well, because it tells us right away at what stage in the process you are. And that's important because then we know how much time we have. And from scheduling purposes, we know how quickly to get the homeowner in to see us.
Another question I noticed on that form is, have you filed for bankruptcy? Why is that so important?
Well, bankruptcy's tricky because as a counselor and even as a homeowner, sometimes the servicer, and I say lender and servicer, they're kind of interchangeable, can't talk to you about the situation because you are in bankruptcy, and Dan can probably explain a little bit more about that, but the rules are that if they are attempting to collect a debt and you're in bankruptcy, it gets pretty tricky.
Okay.
So that's important for us to know.
Another question, how much will it take to bring the mortgage current? Why would that be so important? How much money?
Well, that's important because one of the options for homeowners is to go through their own resources, family resources, and really try, because that's the best answer. The best answer is to come up with the funds necessary to bring your mortgage current. So that's important to know.
And I may add that if we see that the homeowner is a month or two late, we could help them at that point with some financial assistance. Better Family Life, as well as several other agencies, Beyond Housing, Urban League, Catholic Charities, offer financial assistance. And we have found that sometimes it's as little as $1,200 or $1,300 that could bring someone current. And we can help them. And that's what we want to get out. We can help you financially, especially if you live in the city of St. Louis. And then other agencies have monies in the county in Illinois. So they can get help.
Okay. One more question. It's on that intake form. Have you received letters from an attorney?
Wow, that's important. Because if you've received letters from an attorney, that means that it's either a default letter that gives you 30 days to bring your mortgage current, all the arrears, or you actually have a letter saying that you are in foreclosure and have a sale date.
So that's pretty serious.
That's pretty serious.
All right.
Not that we can't do anything, but it's pretty serious.
Okay. Now, Malik had just mentioned that there is some aid available. The federal government is also stepping up to the plate when it comes with money to provide funds to help qualified homeowners refinance their mortgages through the Federal Housing Administration. The segment of home mortgages originated by the FHA and VA is fairly small. Over the past 7 years, they've averaged just 5% of all mortgages and equity loans. But the Department of Housing and Urban Development, in an effort to help stem the tide of foreclosures, recently created a loan product for homeowners needing to refinance their way out of trouble. HUD's program director for single-family housing in St. Louis, Doug Neff, says FHA Secure was introduced last November.
Basically, under FHA Secure, we're looking to refinance conventional loans that are either current or maybe past due. If they're currently delinquent, we can only refinance if the existing loan is an adjustable rate mortgage. The reason for the default can be the adjustable rate mortgage rate reset, or it can be due to any other extenuating circumstance. In the case of current loans, we'll even refinance borrowers who have been delinquent in the 12 months immediately preceding the extenuating circumstance, so long as the delinquency didn't exceed 2 times over 30 days or 1 time over 60 days. And we can refinance up to our maximum geographic loan limit, which has recently been increased for the St. Louis metropolitan area to $281,250, or 97%.
Now they're hoping that as many as 500,000 homeowners can benefit from this program by the end of the year, but of course it's always important to check with a qualified housing counselor first. Now while we're on the subject of money, I understand the Urban League has programs as well.
Yes, exactly. We offer housing counseling, but from a housing counseling standpoint, we look at the financial assistance really as being a last resort situation, because oftentimes as housing counselors we can actually get the engage the mortgage company into a negotiation process to where we may look at some other options. It may be a forbearance, a loan modification, or a special repayment plan. And then usually in that situation, once we get to a situation where financial assistance may be needed, or may be something that's really a need at that point, that's when we would look to apply the financial assistance. So, and also at the Urban League too, we also offer a holistic approach to the services. Even if a person or a family has other auxiliary needs, whether it's it could be utility assistance or it could be food pantry, we are also able to step in and help a family with those other items that they may need while they're going through that particular crisis as well.
Okay. We were talking legal matters, so timing seems to be everything.
Well, it is, and if I might just add one thing. Legal Services of Eastern Missouri, we don't provide financial assistance, but we represent low-income borrowers, and so we go to bat for the low-income borrowers who are faced with foreclosure. And many, many times there are legal defenses so that the borrower is not totally defenseless, is not totally at the mercy of the lender, and so we try to find those legal leverage to bring the lender to the bargaining table, or if necessary go to court and fight it out.
All right. Now our panel is going to be answering your questions about foreclosure issues very shortly, so I want to give you the phone number that you can call. Call us at 1-800-568-9099 or email us at mortgage@ketc.org.